Intro, you won't believe it. Grandma's dream turned out to be she was like a character from a soap opera. Old Iris Lolly said she had already had a premonition. Her life was basically a zombie movie. But once she realized this, she immediately went into save the world mode, snatching the coin from the boy and hosting an anti-debt rally on the restaurant stage. Eventually, thanks to her passionate protests, the hundreds who were about to go down in a death chain reaction survived, but she underestimated Grim Reaper's determination. Turns out her prevention wasn't strong enough to stop Death's plans. So over the years, those who should have been safe encountered a series of unexpected incidents. Now she was left to fight a lonely battle. Even though she kept Death at bay for years, she unexpectedly got taken out by cancer, ticking clocks running low on her time. She just wanted to pass on her survival skills to the next generation so they wouldn't fall into Death's trap after she shuffled off this mortal coil. Iris handed a hefty book to Stephen, hoping she would study it thoroughly. Upon hearing Grandma's last request, Stephen quickly declined. Being a student, she definitely wasn't willing to sacrifice her youth for this. She bid farewell to Grandma and was about to leave the room when Iris wanted to stop her, but as she took a step, something felt off. In an instant, she sensed her exit strategy. Stepping out of the house meant she'd definitely be out for good, but for the sake of her descendants, she had to make a decision. So, she blocked Stephen at the door, trying to convince her granddaughter about her theories. After giving an important briefing, Iris decided to show her the arrival. Her exit strategy would serve as a warning for her descendants, hence she was determined to show and let Death make its entrance. After underscoring key points from the materials, she showcased Death's horror with her own life, not like how they did in the movies and just fade into the mountains. With Grandma's exit, they held her a grand send-off, but the crowd didn't seem too heartbroken. Maybe it's because they never really lived with Iris. What they didn't realize was their current happy lives were the fruits of Iris' decades-long battle against Death. However, unexpectedly on the day of the funeral, Stephen's mother returned. Perhaps Grandma's passing broke the nightmare, and Stephen hadn't had a bad dream in it. While typing, her mother suddenly felt a breeze, just as Grandma said. Weird things happen when Death is around. She could sense strange occurrences, which was her only trick against Death. Now with her mother's return, Death's gathering began in this house. But little did they know, Death had its eyes on one of the family members. Uncle had 3 kids, a cousin, a sister, and a brother, accidentally broke a glass. The shards of this glass clearly became part of Death's plan, and every small action would provide help to Death. Soon, the glass shards were placed into another cup while Stephen was browsing through those mysterious materials. From the content, it seemed these scenes correlating to plots from earlier films were spot on, making one wonder if those bizarre deaths had anything to do with Iris saving lives years ago. Hence, today, if Stephen and her family followed the logic that Iris should have checked out long ago, then her descendants shouldn't exist. Therefore, Stephen and her family became a glitch in Death's schedule. Only by making them disappear could the work resume to normal. Only after Iris slogged off could Death make a move on her descendants. One can't help but say, Death really follows an unusual path, especially as a well-disciplined worker bee. She would rather have a standoff with Iris for decades, focusing on the process, and even throw in a hint before doing the dirty deed. Stephen didn't quite understand what this meant, but even without clarity, she decided to warn her family. Meanwhile, while heading to Uncle's place, the kill plan had ready to grab a drink. Dad put down his cup due to the kids' insistence while Uncle got invited to the bounce house, not knowing a sharp nail puller was lying below. Just as Uncle was about to bounce, Stephen's mom quickly sensed something was off, called for a halt and dashed over to take the nail puller away and put it against the wall. However, Aunt accidentally bumped a liquor bottle, activating the sprinkler which spread water down the pipes, effortlessly stirring up various tools in the bucket. By the time Stephen arrived, everything was set. Uncle's and Chu's exit kicked off a new round of hunting plans by Death, and everyone closely wondered into the joke of the situation. After the funeral, Stephen finally deciphered the Death rule using the materials and explained to the family how Grandma single-handedly battled with Death for decades. They were finally living peacefully, but now that Grandma was gone, those who should have vanished would face the inevitable bloodline curse. It wouldn't be long before bloodlines related to Grandma faced Uncle's fate. The next in line could very well be Cousin, who just couldn't escape the next wave. Stephen's explanation left everyone dumbfounded, especially cousins who were outright skeptical, thinking Stephen's conspiracy theories didn't fit this summer day, so they were ready. Before leaving, the cousin expressed her disdain for Stephen. Seeing no one believed her, Stephen felt utterly helpless, feeling like she was becoming the laughingstock. That night, Cousin indeed ran into trouble. Missing his deceased father, he tattooed the word on his arm, when suddenly a puppet appeared, causing an unease to wash over him. As Cousin leaned down to pick up the glass shard, adjacent flammable liquid spilled out, while the decorative chain above him coincidentally fell, snagging onto his soul. As the fan rotated, the chain pulled Cousin upwards. Consequently, he began to frantically struggle to loosen it. Facing this, it was like a twisted comedy. Cousin kept yanking at the chain, revealing how absurd the whole process was. During this fiasco, an unexpected touch from the floor lamp ignited the nearby flammable liquid, while Cousin was helpless, straining to extricate himself. Fortunately, at the last moment, he managed to free himself, but to his dismay, he slipped and took a nosedive. By the next day, Stephen received word that the tattoo shop had caught fire and rushed over with her brother to check on Cousin's safety. But as she arrived, it was a close call for Cousin. Life's peak. This guy came out unscathed from last night. Upon learning about his ordeal, Stephen believed that death wouldn't let him off easy, thus warned Cousin to be extremely cautious. Just then, the sister walked out too. Due to their conflict the previous day, Sister harbored resentment towards Stephen, so she didn't say much and got ready to make her escape. While they continued to debate on death, Sister suddenly got knocked into a garbage bin by a flying football from afar. Everyone rushed after her, with Cousin shouting for the driver to stop, but the driver was wearing headphones and clueless. Just then, the Cousin suddenly realized the nearby compactor had started, clearly able to crush her in the trash. Luckily, Stephen jumped in the car to pull her out. However, as the two barely held on to each other, Cousin's abrupt stop made the car screech to a halt, and the massive inertia cost Sister her last chance. One must admit, these transitions are performed exceptionally well.